At Mount Edgecumbe High School, a physics class taught by Matt Hunter went on a field trip to the Blue Lake Dam to learn about hydroelectricity. During the field trip, the students saw firsthand the equipment, forces, and people that make up the system that creates electricity for the whole town of Sitka.
So are we walking from here?
You know what, I'm not sure what the plan is.
It's a management firm, so there's the city that's the owner, and Barnard Construction who's the contractor, and McMillan works.
We were supposed to wear hard hats, glasses, a vest, a neon colored vest so you would be visible on construction sites. That's basically it.
They're working in there. I'm sure you're all wondering.
She did a great job. She helped us to be very informed about the dam project that's going on here in Sitka. She told us about the various processes that they have gone through to make this dam happen and how it has been quite a struggle to start this, but it's getting better.
Keep walking. Make sure you wear your hard hat.
And it comes down here. Let's step out and we'll look at the penstock where the water comes in. But before we do that, I want you to around the scroll cage, which is the part that looks kind of like a snail. The amount of electricity you can get out of a hydro project is a function of two things. Only two things. Well, there's other things, but two major things. One, the major thing is the difference in elevation between the river that you're discharging into and the elevation of the lake. Okay? So when the lake is full, there's more elevation, more head pressure to generate electricity with. When the lake is down lower, there is less head pressure to generate electricity with, and so you get less electricity out of it. One of the things that we're doing on this project, the main thing that we're doing is really, really very simple. We're raising the lake. Everything that happens in between is immaterial, okay? Let's go back in there. Which has the runner, the part with the blaze on it, that rotates in the water, that's inside this. We'll have a series of control panels sitting right here. There are 3 windows right there that we haven't cut out yet. You'll also control the transmission and distribution system. The transmission system is the 3 wires that go to town that carry the high voltage, that carry the electricity into the substations in town. And in fact, what we do is we have a load shedding scheme so that there are certain parts of town that are more important than others. What would be an important part of town other than your house? The airport. You can't turn off the runway lights when a plane is landing. So the airport, the island is very important, both because it's got the airport and it's got search on it. And so when we have a load shed, which happens if a turbine trips offline, now we don't have enough electricity to go around. We always turn off the ends of the road first before we turn off the hospitals. So that all happens here in this building, in this room. They're controlling all those things, watching the loads, adjusting it, and so forth. So this control room right here controls the whole electrical system. Okay? Go this way.
Just look at all the equipment they're using, look at how they're building the thing, the entire dam project, all 3 turbines they're using, and got to talk with how they're doing it. All the calculations, explosions, all fun stuff happening to create the hydroelectric dam to supply more power for Sitka. It's actually pretty interesting.
That's the water treatment plant. One of the things that you also get out of Blue Lake, besides the electricity, the most important thing you get out of Blue Lake is drinking water. All of our drinking water comes from Blue Lake the same way the water comes for the electricity, comes down the same tunnel, the same pipe, goes into that treatment plant building there, where it's just you can't make electricity with the water that went over the dam. The water has got to stay inside the lake to make electricity out of it. So, after the waterfall goes into the lake, then we drain it out of the lake through something called an intake. And then there's an inlet valve in front of the turbine. If you want the turbine to go around, all it is a paddle wheel. See that? You open the inlet valve, the water squirts against it, and it makes the turbine go around, more or less. Now, if you want to raise the dam, which is what we're going to do, in this case, we're just going to lift it up. What happens when you do that? The turbine goes faster. When you lower the dam or lower the water level, what happens? The turbine goes slower. When you raise the dam, the turbine goes faster. All we're doing in this arrangement here is changing the elevation of the lake to make the turbine go faster. It doesn't really go faster. It generates more electricity with the same amount of water. When the lake runs out of water, the turbine doesn't go anywhere. So it's important that you manage the water so that you keep the lake full. The higher the lake is, the more water you have in it, the more electricity you can make.
So maybe part of your question was also about keeping water in the dam. Like, how do you raise the water level when it's not raining? How do you keep the water high?
You don't. You do the best you can. We have 2 different hydro projects. We have one at Green Lake and we have this one here at Blue Lake. And by running by shifting the load between the 2 different projects, we can keep both projects, both lakes, as full as possible. One other thing that I want to talk about is that dams are made, this isn't a good example, this will work. Dams are arch-shaped, okay? The arches are stronger than things that aren't arches. This square bucket, if you were to make a dam and not have an arch in it, you would have a flat surface which deflects. But since it's an arch shape, the arch, the curved portion where the dam abuts, you'll see, it transfers the load into the rock on the sides, and so it's stronger. It doesn't just tip over. It's the fact that it's an arch shape is the reason you can build a dam. That's why you don't build one, like a flat wall like you see on a building.
Keep your safety gear, go ahead and get back on the buses, and then we'll follow a concrete truck up to the top.
Okay. Just like
There you go.
Let's do this. I'm a cashier.
Best part of the tour, what I thought, was seeing that crane that was from a native corporation, I believe it was from, right? So, just that, well, how much tons was on that crane again? Like 10 tons on it? Like, many of them. Goodness.
Okay, you see where all those rocks and debris are down there on the dam? So that is the spillway of the existing dam. You see over there, you can see the old concrete, the new concrete. So the contractor has brought up the sides of the dam. So it's an empty form right now. Probably this week they'll fill that up with concrete, which should be in December of this year.
That is crazy. Is that just a random fishing boat down there?
That's actually the city's boat. They go out in it and study the wildlife and the fish in the back of the lake where we're inundating acreage.
Wow, really? Gee, what are the dudes?
I wasn't going to try and yell over that. So that actually fits in perfect with what we're going to talk about down here. That is a forklift that fits into tunnels. So it used to be that the intake that went all the way, I guess intake I should say, water tunnel or power tunnel or whatever you want to call it. The water goes through that tunnel down to the powerhouse. It used to start in the lake right here and go through the mountains. What we did is we raised the intake a little bit and we drilled a new tunnel over here that comes in at a diagonal angle and will intersect with that other tunnel and go down to the powerhouse. They drilled 829 feet into the rock here, so if you can imagine that is a long way. They did it 10 feet at a time. They blast it, just 10 feet of rock. So they did that 10 feet at a time over 829 feet. So it was crazy. It was an engineering construction feat. It was amazing. So all the water comes in from the back of the lake, drops down 120 feet, comes back up right here, and goes into our drinking water and also the water that we make hydroelectricity with. So all that sediment falls out at 120 feet below sea level, and then we get to drink clean water.
So at this point in the tour, they had basically showed us everything that they were allowed to show us, and plus it was about that time for us to get back to school. But not before taking some pictures.